I'm Gothic. Yes, I'm Gothic. Yes, I'm Gothic. Hey, everyone. We are Gothic. This is 372 pages. We'll never get back. Michael J. Nelson, along with Conor Listoka. Conor, how are you?
I'm doing good, Mike. I was listening to the music sexily as I watched.
I could tell. I could tell.
Corpse Bride in my mental headcanon.
Quick clothes description, please.
Thank you. I am wearing shorts that Lauren has told me I am not allowed to wear out of the house.
Sexily?
Sexily. Oh, very. That's the problem. That's the problem. They're too sexy.
I see. I see.
Right. And a shirt of a
right
defunct brewery
yeah.
in San Diego.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Which one?
Monkey Paw. That was down by the ballpark.
Right.
It was owned by the Hamiltons guys.
Right.
I think it shut down 2 years ago.
Yeah,
it was a good place.
This is the podcast where Conor and I, who work over at rifftracks.com, we come and read bad books for some reason, and then we talk about them on the air, and it's going to be a great show. This is the final chapters of My Immortal, piece of Harry Potter, I guess, fanfic. And we have all the departments except we don't have any real or fanfic. Because
no real or fanfic. We're replacing that with text messages being received on air, I guess.
Yes, sorry. That's my... I play the music over a pad that I have, and it's, I think, 8 years old, and so it just kind of... So it just crashed. So
it's getting notifications from Friendster and
yes.
Flickr
So the music you hear from now on will not be coming from that because it just told me I'm dying. So sorry, it wasn't actually a text. Anyway,
we're wrapping this book up, and so always have an eye on the future. And we got big news last week. I think I sent it to you. I forget what the thing was, but I think I essentially just said, "Big sip of coffee." Get it all ready, and sent you over the news that the Ready Player 2 had a release date set.
I still would have done a spit take on that, even though I already knew that.
You think I think you somehow either had it at the ready or very quickly Googled a picture of like a fractal middle finger, where it was like a middle finger that was had its own middle finger that was, recursing into infinity.
Yes. Yep. There's not enough fingers to give to it. I don't know what to think about that.
Yesterday I saw a thing that it was up for, a discounted pre-order, and I just retweeted that and said, the world that this clown wrote this book in is unrecognizable from the one that it's going to be released in. And if I can't think of a worse, of a less suited, worldview to come out.
It's like, what was the Love Guru from
yes.
Michael Myers? It's like, I think we've seen enough of you. The world seems different now.
Right. But it's
we don't really need you anymore.
Yeah, if the Love Guru had been released on, September 12th, 2001, and it was like, read the room, man. We don't need a list of your favorite episodes of Silver Spoons here.
Right. Oh, well,
so that's good. That's good for us. I'm excited to see whether he's grown, made an effort. I think that would be just as good as if he just was like, stay in the course.
I hope it is super ambitious. Like, right. Beyond Sean Penn, beyond Pappy. It's just, he tries to go full, I don't know, J.P. Donlevy or something. Just
House of Leaves or something, too. Just
intricate levels. Maybe there's some novelty to it. Yeah, that'd be great.
So we've got that to look forward to. But in the meantime, we got Tara Gillespie's opus to wrap up, I suppose.
Yeah, and plot-wise, I'm going to have to pass it to my distinguished co-host because I cannot follow a thing. I can't follow it from sentence to sentence. So where are we in the plot?
Let me consult the Rosetta Stone of the Gillespie oeuvre. We've got our hero, Ebony, Darkness, Dementia, Raven, Way, some combination of those words, who has been tasked with going back in time to seduce Voldemort, to therein protect two dads, Harry's dad and Lucius Malfoy, Draco's dad, because he has tried to kill them in the future. And I think, for some reason, the dads are the focus here, not the, imperiled students that are usually the focus of the Harry Potter verse. And I think that's sort of where it stands. We left the last time with her getting Marty McFly's time machine.
Tim Machine, please.
Tim Machine, yeah, Morty McFlee. And I think that's where we are. There's various serums, there's potions, there's characters who are making out, there's flying cars, but all of that is sort of, that's just as relevant to the plot as the actual plot is. So that's where we left off at chapter 35.
Right, and as always, strong language and content warning from this. You wouldn't think from someone who is obviously, 13 or trying to be a 13. That still remains controversial.
Yeah.
Who is exactly writing this is up for grabs, and probably in the middle of this podcast we'll do a little bit of a dive on that because a little twist comes up here. But we'll get to that when we get to it. But you wouldn't expect this kind of language and behavior. Again, it's Sex Man circa 12 years ago. So.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect it, but there's all sorts of evidence that it was there. I mean, I still have my 8th grade yearbook, and people just were utterly, I think it was mostly posturing, but the going places.
Yeah, that was not a part of my junior high years. It was making underarm fart noises in the library. It was about as strong as things got. So.
I think we had Beavis and Butthead to blame.
Yeah, that's true. They ruined everything. But let's dive in. This is chapter 36.
Yeah, and it starts off, with an author's note. I started to like the author's notes. I like this one a lot too because she says, I said stop flaming. Okay, 1111111. I bet you're all probably old 70-year-olds. And I just loved the mental image of, if that were true, the septuagenarians logging onto fanfiction.net to flame the Harry Potter fanfic every week.
Yeah, I thought of their response to it if, take it at face value. What if there were 70-year-olds doing it? And they felt that reading fanfic from a 13-year-old kept them young. And then all of a sudden, this big slap in the face. Like, I read this to keep myself young. So I consider myself a young for my age, 70. So the fact that you're calling me an old 70-year-old is very, very insulting.
Yeah, I missed my grandson's first steps to come in here and flame this book, and this is the thanks I get? Right.
But it looks like Raven is back. I mean, not back. It's been a rocky road with Raven, but she's got her hand on the tiller again.
The guiding hand has returned. She's being thanked. Thanks to Raven for the help. So that's we can. I didn't notice any distinct editorial malfeasance when Raven was out of the picture, but I'm glad she's back.
But she's going. Raven is just update on her travels. She's going to England. So.
Got it. Yeah, and no updates about the Transylvania trip either. I assume it went as well as could.
And our author is back in W. She doesn't say in this one, but in a future chapter, I think she says something about W. So I'm just going to assume she's sitting at her high writer's desk. She probably writes at a drafting desk, I assume.
Sure, like Bob Cratchit.
You're looking out a window over a lake and in W. So let's dive into the meat of the notes.
Yeah, so she's back in time talking to Voldemort, a.k.a. Satan, and he has asked her to go to a concert. I guess Marilyn Manson is playing. She asked him to go to a gothic cornet and a movie, so I need a sex and new outfit for the date. And I just thought that need was a very difficult thing to prove here, because if there was one thing we know is that she has like a Harry Potter magic closet where you open it up and the clothes just like keep shooting by, like Cher and Clueless, I guess, kind of thing. Yes.
I have to say about that sentence you just read, where we talked about it before. When you're reading Shakespeare, it takes a while to get the language and everything. I'm still struggling because I read, even though I know the context, cornet threw me off.
Oh, yes.
Asked me to a cornet. It just didn't happen immediately. I had to go back and go, what is she oh, God. It's concert.
Yes, it is. It's like it's a cryptic crossword. What if Coronet Films went gothic for all the shorts that we do?
There probably was a period. We just haven't discovered it yet.
Yeah, there is a bottomless well.
Yeah. My first sentence that I don't really have comment for it. I just sometimes these are fun to read. This is about the concert and how they're going to prepare for it. Hi, Fooker, I said. Listen, Satan asked me out to a gothic cornet and movie. You read that, but I'm going to go on. Also, I'm playing in a gothic band, so I need an outfit for that too. Oh, my Satan won. Get it, lols, 'cause she's gothic, gaped Bloody Mary. I want to go to Hot Topic to shop for your outfit. So it's just rehashing the same thing.
Yes.
How many times has it been suggested that Hot Topic is visited?
Dozens, and the idea of needing new clothes is instead of combining the various garters and lace stockings and fishnets is preposterous.
I should point out that from now on, I pretty much have everything tagged as a dumb sentence.
Sure.
So it's mostly going to be about dumb sentence management from here on out.
Okay, yes.
About what we read and what we don't.
Sure, yeah, oh yeah. We'll just, keep some in the pocket. We have a lot of good submissions as well. But, so yeah, I guess they are back in the present at this point in time. I apologize for suggesting otherwise earlier. My scholarship credentials will be revoked. But they are wondering what has happened to Dumbledore. And so they go into they went sexily to potions class. I just burned one there. So they're wondering where Dumbledore is, but then they encounter Cornelia Fuck, who obviously is Cornelius Fudge, but they shout STFU exclamation mark 1. He is an as Cahabian now, whiff, snip, and Lupin. He is old and weak. He has cancer, and cancer is spelled with a K, which I tip my hat to them for that little innovation. But as we recall, she explained away Dumbledore's Avril Lavigne liking, I think, earlier by saying he had Alzheimer's. So I believe this is he's become the punchline of that old dirty joke about the Alzheimer's and cancer patient, I guess.
Yeah, he is not doing well. Maybe he is the archetype of the old 70-year-old.
Oh wow, yeah. She's casting aspersion on her haters. Through metatext.
Another confession. I did not know what Cornelia Fuck was because I had forgotten that there was a Cornelia Fudge. So is that just I hate Cornelia Fudge so much?
Well, earlier it was Fug was the first time.
Yeah, that's why I was confused. So this is the same person, though.
Yeah, I think she just saw an opportunity to change that name and went with it. That's why she's the pro.
The reveal of Cornelia, by the way, the ellipses, full half of a line of a standard margin, at least on my page.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many that is. Maybe someone knows off the top of their head.
I flipped ahead earlier in my book. The print version of this has a couple of other sequels and stuff, which I think are all just sort of, they're parody of this. They're taking it. There's three more sequels and then 2 bonus stories, but one of the sequels has, I think it was an entire 14 page of ellipses in the print version. Yeah, so
sure.
it was definitely seized on.
Tell me what this means. This is all caps, and this is Cornelia Fook in this case. Dates it. I assume it's That's It 11. Cornelia Fook shooted Arngurli.
Okay.
Getting Professor Bridge 111.
Okay.
Who's Professor Bridge?
That's Professor Dolores Umbridge, who
the coolest teacher who ever lived?
No, that's Professor that's the other. That's Professor Satan or something like that. I forget her name, but she's the one who swears.
Right, which makes her cool.
Right, even though Cornelia said STFU, so maybe the fact that she abbreviates her swears means she's not cool. Dolores Umbridge is she looked like the mom on that 70s show in the movie, and she came in and was like the sort of cat lady, but she was also extremely evil and sinister and made Harry write on his arm in blood type of thing.
Yep, all right.
So she has not been a major player in this story.
Yeah.
She is just sort of there.
And drinking blood mixed with beer, is that a first for this? I can't remember.
They have smoked crack, so I think the beer drinking was sort of assumed. I don't exactly recall them getting wasted, but they might have done it in his car. They smoked drugs. They smoked weed.
I just like that things happen. Here's the whole sentence. Me friends and I began talking again. I began to drink some blood mixed with beer. So it's just the acquisition of the things. I guess it's just sort of it's a magical world, and I have to accept that blood mixed with beer just appears.
Okay, yep. Mm-hmm.
Because there's no, like, then we stopped at a bodega where I purchased a six-pack, and then I bled a hog in the parking lot and poured it into a solo cup that I had purchased at the bodega.
I think if she had tried to put the word bodega in this, whatever it would have come out like, I would have stared at for half an hour trying to figure out what she was getting at. It would have come out as like bratwurst or something.
Bagodig? Yeah,
yes.
Who knows?
But yeah, so there is her glass of blood, wherever they are at this moment. Hagrid is trying to spike it, and so Darko and Vampire beat him up sexily, and Hagrid is I'm not sure what that qualifies as, like the little heel kicks that like De Niro does in Goodfellas. Is that beating someone up sexily?
Yeah, but I'm assuming doing them sort of flamenco style,
Okay,
sort of hands above the head and sort of snapping the fingers, and that'd be kind of sexy.
But the amnesia potion, believe it or not, does not play out. That is the rare plot thread that she introduces and loses. So,
yeah. So she looks at him and knows he was putting it. She recognized amnesia portion 111 by sight, which is, I mean, that's talent, right?
Well, yeah, that's the when you go
guess it's
sexily to potions class, you don't just
That's true.
You got to learn something.
I guess it's like a cartoon bomb or something. It has it on the side, triple X amnesia potions.
It has a character thinking about something, but then the thinking is crossed out, no smoking style sign.
So that's the end of
chapter
36. Yeah.
And chapter 37. Do you have an author's note in this? I didn't take note of that. I just went straight to the plot.
I've got it here, and this is just it's travel updates.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. Gong on vocation on the 1st of July, so either gonna end the fic or update it in weeks. Fangs. Oh yeah, and perhaps stop flaming the story. 11 Raven Fangs for to help see your girl after vocation 11. So she's leaving W.
Yes.
Presumably, but probably not. She was already in Transylvania, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, perhaps her parents, they seem well-to-do if they're taking these many exotic vacations there, thinking this might be a way to draw her out of her shell and, explain to her that the world is more than just the hot topic at the local mall. But it does not appear to be working.
Right.
I know I went on vacations, when I was younger, where sometimes it was like I would have rather been, doing whatever my friends were doing back home, like sitting in someone's basement. But my parents were like, no, we're obviously going to go to the beach, and you resent that. But obviously later you learn that it was a gesture of love and it was a wonderful experience, but you just couldn't appreciate it at the time. I hope that's what happens to her.
I'm almost certain it did. I like that you have a positive spin on what happened. She did not end up like Jessie. What was her? Smart or no? Jessie? No, that was someone else.
Huh?
The girl who got bullied online. We talked about it last week.
Yeah,
Jessie,
right. Jessie Slaughter.
That's it.
Yeah.
That did not turn out well, it seems. But who am I to judge? Anyway.
But yeah. Go ahead.
My first note. I just want to know what this means. But you are so sexy and wonderful, anyway, Tata, said Vampire. Why would you need it? Who's Tata?
So she has suggested using amnesia potion to make Voldemort fall in love with her faster. And so Vampire reassures her, you're so sexy and wonderful anyway, Tata. And that is the instance of the Mary Sue author self-insert. So she has put her own name in there, Terra, but misspelled it.
Oh, okay. That was my leading theory, but again, I'm not...
Did you think he maybe said, like, goodbye to her midway through the sentence, but then forgot he had said goodbye and kept his conversation going with why did you need it?
Yeah, I briefly went to, is he using a really old, like, 80s slang for breasts or something, too? I don't know. I don't know what it was. So thank you for the clarification.
Yes. So the amnesia potion, that might be the last episode, the last mention of it. But I think they're going down into like the Great Hall, and they encounter my favorite character, Brittany. She says, "OMFG, you guys are so scary," said Brittany, a fucking prep. And then Willow comes in from downtown and just says, "Shut the fuck up," said Willow. So Willow is like, she makes her contributions. They have a big impact. Like when she's like the person who just your friend who's doesn't say a lot, but every time they do, it's the funniest guy in the room.
Do you think a little like a hype person just showing up and
sort of a Flavor Flav kind of guy?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
What did you mean by hype person?
What do you think my perception of what a hype person is?
Probably Flavor Flav.
How rounded out do you think it is? How many examples do you think I can come up with?
Send Dog from Cypress Hill, Freaky Ka from the Lost Boys.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, this chapter, I believe I was confused a lot because suddenly the door opened. It was Professor Slutgorn 11. Who's Professor Slutgorn 11?
Well, I think it's Professor Slut. It's not Professor Slutgorn 11. It's Professor Slutgorn, and those are exclamation marks.
Well, I know that. It's not, who's Professor?
It's not her IM name of she couldn't get the first 10 Professor Slutgorns.
But I have forgotten who this is.
I think Professor Slughorn was like some sort of teacher. In this story, I have no idea, but and I don't know what they're doing. But I think in this situation, she might have taken over for Professor Sinister, who was the cool professor we were talking about last time. We couldn't remember.
Oh, so that's a feature of her writing that is very confusing, of walking into classes, expecting to see someone.
Suddenly walking into classes.
But suddenly it was ... and then it's just someone else?
Yes. Right, yeah. Everyone is always just leaping out from behind, concealed. Their presence was concealed before they decided to make an appearance in this universe.
Very, very confusing.
So they, I think this is Professor Slutgorn 11 saying this. There's a sign on the black wall that she reads, and it says, "Everyone, Professor Sinister is away. She is too gothic. She is in Azkaban now. Classes shall be taught by Dumbledore, who is back, but he shall not be principal for now." So it seems that Professor Sinister was sent to Azkaban, the wizard prison, for being too gothic, which is, this has got to be the author's greatest fear, I guess.
Oh, she always thinks she's about to be tossed in the hoosegow?
For being too gothic.
Yes.
It's like, first they came for the preps, and I was not a prep, so I said nothing type of thing.
Right. Well, that is going to be quite a sweep at this time of arresting everyone who shops at Hot Topic. That is going to take up a lot of our resources. Probably going to be National Guard at a certain point, I think.
But then the fact that Dumbledore's coming back and he's been removed from his role as principal, this could be the cancer with a K maybe having an effect. It could be, his diminished capacity in that department. So I think she is tying some of these threads together here.
My goodness. I did not pick up on this, but I will read in its entirety the return of Dumbledore.
Okay.
This is all caps and for the first sentence, and then everything after that is obviously self-explanatory.
Okay.
"What the hell are you dong in my office?" He began to shoot angrily. Sudwen lay. I saw Morty McFly's black Tim machine 111 jumped seductively into it, leaving Draco and Vampire. Suddenly, I was back in Tim. I looked around. It was 4,000 ellipses. Professor Sluthorn's face. I sneaked around. Suddenly, I saw the amnesia potion capitalized. It was black with red blood pentagrams in it. It was the shape of a cross. I put it in my pocket. Suddenly the door opened. It was only about 8 ellipses. Professor Slutgorn 11. So she's back in time.
Yes.
And Slutgorn is doing what? Making the potion?
Making the amnesia potion. She had to go back in time to steal it.
I guess,
yeah. The whole idea that Marty McFly is, as we've said before, like Eric Stoltz in Anaconda, he's a character in this, but he is not a character. He almost, Tom Bombadil showed up, and Marty McFly is pretty much the same thing, even though he has much bigger impact because she keeps taking his Tim machine. But he never speaks. He never described.
Speaks.
Yeah. There's not even a description. We don't know if this is actually the DeLorean or not, because later I believe it's an iPod that is his Tim machine. So,
that's right. So does he just pull up and he's got, he's like the most high-class limo driver ever. He's got the black cap on, and he just silently opens the door.
He has white
maybe
gloves
gives her a little nod to acknowledge that she looks sexy that day, but otherwise, he's just wherever you want to go, madam.
I guess so. He's sort of a silent valet.
Well, that's neat. I mean, that's a good use of character, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It subverts expectations, I suppose. Ernest Cline would have him, spouting the catchphrases. He would say, like, "This is heavy, Ebony, Dementia, Raven Way," and she doesn't pander.
Cline would also have him having invented many other lame things from the future too, like I invented an ecto cooler flavor or something.
Yes, right. So. Wow, this is delicious, Marty. But it's there is similarities between the Mary Sues. That's another thread that ties us all together. Everyone's like they're the best at everything.
Yeah. And this chapter ends with the concert, right? Or they're going to the concert.
Yes. I just was like, oh my damn it! No, this is, I believe, the 4th or 5th concert that they have attended.
Suddenly, Satan came. You want to know what he was wearing?
I'm going to say bowler hat. Sort of dressed like maybe like Oliver Hardy. He sort of has a frumpy 3-piece suit, I would guess. Cane.
Tie too short. Mm-hmm. Maybe white gloves, but they're obviously overused. A couple holes in the finger. Yeah,
and you wouldn't expect it, but he has meticulously maintained his shined patent leather shoes. So they look really good, but in this context, they stand out. They protest too much.
Right, his last shot at dignity, and it only highlights how much, how less dignity. It's like Great Expectations, the father-in-law buying the top hat and trying to set it on the top of the mantle that just doesn't fit on, and it keeps falling off, and it annoys the hell out of his gentleman son.
Okay.
Yes, that's exactly right. No, he was wearing a Smexy Blake leather Jackson, Blake Congress shoes, a Slipknot T-shirt, and a Blake tie.
Wow.
So not far off.
Right. Possibly the first appearance of Slipknot. Maybe that's a lateral move, I guess, from the other the more sexy Gothic bands. They're the more sort of intimidating, evil-looking ones.
Well, be careful. We've got a lot of scholars out there, so we leave it to you. Is that the first appearance of a Slipknot T-shirt in Chapter 37? We are humble students of your erudition. We don't know, so we'll take your correction.
So yeah, they say they are heading to the concert. I believe the only other detail was that Sirius Black has changed his name to Hades, just because that seems like something that everyone in the book is trying to do, and they're trying to snatch up the satanic names before they're all gone. I guess I think you don't want to have her try to spell like Mephistopheles or something like that, or Beelzebub. So you've got to land the early obvious one, Satan, Hades, early on.
What was the name of the Call Me Maybe girl?
Carly Rae Jepsen?
Carly Rae Jepsen. Call Me Hades would be a nice... I think now's the time for that song parody, right? To mash up this. And...
Absolutely. Yeah, but Carly Rae's a fucking prep, Mike. I think that she would be the absolute bane of this story if this took place in 2015.
Willow, could you come in here and call her what she is, please? Carly Rae. All right, so the concert with Satan and Hades / Sirius.
But they are their band is opening for this Marilyn Manson at this concert. Their band X Black X Tier X. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that changes a little bit in the future, but that's generally it. Yeah. So chapter 38.
Yeah.
Author's note. Do you have any?
No, I didn't. I didn't take anything away from this one.
I think it's pretty much she just updates on the vacation, and believe it or not, she is unhappy with the press flaming her. So it's pretty much rote,
Just imagining being on vacation in the era of constant internet access. Her parents are probably like ushering her like into the Sistine Chapel, like once in a lifetime experience, and she's just like checking how much flaming she's been getting on the side, like not even bothering to look up at the ceiling.
Her father has like a degenerative nerve disease, so they went to Lourdes and they're filling up the bottles of water and praying, and she's like typing this stuff out.
Oh man. But yeah, so this she's asking Satan. She says, "What do you?" I think the Professor Sinister is addicted to Voldemort's serum. That's the cool professor. She asks Satan if he knows the cure for people who are addicted to it, and he says, "Well, 3 dozen ellipses. I think you have to drink vampire blood." So that is another subplot that does not go anywhere. Trying to cure their favorite professor, but then they decide to go on a date before the concert, I guess, to go watch a movie, The Exorcist.
Oh yeah. Oh, and this is things get take a turn here.
Yeah, this is great. I can't imagine this is a intentional homage, but while Satan was watching the movie, I had an idea. I took his gothic black Nightmare Before Christmas cigar sexily from his pocket and put some amnesia potion in it. So I was totally wrong about the amnesia potion. It does maintain a constant presence, but it doesn't actually impact anything. So let's unpack this here. There are, in this world, Nightmare Before Christmas branded cigars, which seems like, Joe Camel was controversial enough because he was, appealing to younger kids. And this seems like really Disney has courted, a lot of problems here by putting these beloved characters on cigars.
Yeah, I'm not sure this would wash. I don't think it's a good idea on any level, obviously, because are men who smoke cigars, do you generally see them as fans of The Nightmare Before Christmas?
No,
kind of guy.
Yeah, it seems sort of like I'm leery of anything that is like breweries in San Diego are making like Tony Gwynn branded beer or like a Sublime Mexican lager. It's like these are just gimmicks, let me enjoy the product on its own merits without celebrity or branding endorsement. And so that's what I would say about this.
You see the guys at the sitting in the couches that they obviously well worn. Their shape is in the couch at the front of a cigar store where the TV is on to some sports, and they're wearing a Panama hat and a Tommy Bahama. Mm-hmm. They've got a little extra weight on them, maybe a mustache or whatever. They're typing on their typing back to their business that they own, and then they suddenly realize, wait, there's a Nightmare Before Christmas cigar? That is up my alley.
He stubs out his Courage the Cowardly Dog branded cigar and walks up to order a box of those, direct delivered to his personal humidor in the store.
I do want to go back to something that I thought was fascinating, and I wish this had been expanded upon. Stan and I walked to his car. It was a Blake car with pentagrams all over it. Okay. On the license plate, it said 666, just like Draco's car. Confusing, but sometimes, sure. Different jurisdictions.
Draco might have snatched it up after it became available.
I went in it seductively. Stan started to drive it. We talked about Satanism. Cutting, music, and being gothic.
Okay.
Why don't we get this? I mean, we get a little bit of it, but we talked about Satanism?
Yes.
I mean, this would have been...
Yeah, was it a crisis of faith? Like, did she ask him for guidance? Like in the Church of Satan?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Like, sometimes I doubt, and, oh, my child, there is often doubt. But one goes back to the basics, and that would have been fascinating,
right? Yes, and the fact that she threw in being gothic in there, which is like we talked about baseball, football, hockey, and sports. It's like, well, this is these things are assumed when you're talking about being gothic. Like, what else are you? We talked about our hot topic clothes. We get it. Like that is a major aspect of this conversation.
Yeah, but then the only remnant of the conversation, we get a wrap up of it. Because they're smoking weed.
Okay.
Oh my Satan, Gerard is so fucking hot, 11. So that's the end of the conversation. But they talked about Satanism cutting music and being gothic.
Right.
Give us that dialogue.
Right, yeah, especially the transition, like he was like, I have noticed some marks on your arms, and I'm extremely concerned because I love you deeply, and that is a reflection of our Lord Satan's love, and I want to help you, and and then she responds, Gerard is so fucking hot.
And passes the dube over to him, and he's like, all right, okay.
That's right, yeah. I thought this was going to be our breakthrough, but it'll have to wait till after we watch The Exorcist and smoke our Nightmare Before Christmas cigars.
Right, okay, so they're in the theater now, having talked about all those things, gotten high, and so lit a cigar and laughed at Problem Child 2, presumably.
Yes, like, so a woman behind them protests, right? This is It has to be a direct echo of Cape Fear, right? I mean,
well, a woman. Do you think that if we're taking the author at face value, no. If we're saying that it's a troll, then yes.
Sure. I mean, perhaps, yeah, I guess. But yeah, so Voldemort has pretty much put his feet up. He's laughing at the Regan. What's her name? Regan in The Exorcist.
I only know her as Regan. I can't remember.
Okay, but anyway, she's crawling on the ceiling and vomiting pea soup all over everybody, and he's. But then the woman behind him says, "Excuse me, but you are going to have to leave." Shooted the lady behind us. She was a prep. Fuck you, I said. Suddenly, 12 ellipses. I attacked her, sucking all her blood. No, she screamed. And so, one, it's like the first actual act of vampirism we have in a book starring a cast of majority vampires.
Yes, that is. I had that down. Is this the first vampire act? And
yeah,
it is, right?
It is. She has put blood on Count Chocula before, but I do not count that. I do not count this passive vampiring. I need active, blood sucking.
Right. So she has, as a character, has not that she's been, a moral beacon up to this point, but she's fully over. I mean, she's said that she's a sadist and everything. So, but there hasn't been a lot of. She hasn't watched as someone's been kicked to death and laughed or anything like that.
Sure. But I mean, she
now
has exhibited...
she's murdered someone.
Yeah. And, throughout she has exhibited, some sort of, I would call it erratic behavior.
Well, certainly she's not well. I'm just saying.
And so maybe that's her repressing the vampire urges to do stuff like this to the preps. Maybe that's, suppressing that natural instinct has been sort of the root cause of all this.
Yeah.
But then, so as she does this, the woman screams no as she's sucking her blood. All the other preps in the theater screamed, but everyone else crapped because Satan and I looked so cute together, and that took a while because that is another word. But they meant they applauded, they clapped at them.
Oh wait! Now that I said that, I'm directly contradicting myself. This must be where I got the idea.
Huh?
Before they go into the theater, we went into the movie theater where they were showing The Exorcist. In it, a boy and a girl were doing it suddenly. A serial killer, spelled like the food.
Breakfast, yeah.
Satan and I laughed at the blood because we're sadists. So this is directly before this thing. Okay, So this is her turn to the dark side.
She's laughing at that happened in the movie, though?
No.
Oh, okay. So there's a serial killer in the theater?
Yes.
Oh.
You've seen the movie. There is not a serial killer in.
I somehow missed this disturbing detail. That's wow. I mean, she's possessed by, was it Pazuzu?
Pazuzu.
He's sort of a serial killer. I don't
Pazuzu. Think Richard Burton says it later in another movie. Pazuzu.
But yeah, laughing at someone else's carnage is it's a degree removed from actually doing it yourself. So I think she's still sort of suppressing her most base desires.
I don't know. Laughing at a serial killer coming in and murdering two people who are doing it in the theater while The Exorcist plays. I don't think this is the turn you come back from.
Cast the first stone. Fine. If I laugh at that, I guess I'm a bad person.
Still redeemable in my eyes. I don't
know. The other twist that happens in the theater is, so she puts the amnesia potion on his cigar, and we get, this is a very, it's a new mechanic, I would say, for time travel. They reveal that the amnesia potion will not work on him on Voldemort because it hasn't been invented yet in their timeline. So
Whoa.
this is like, it's her own rule for how this stuff sort of works. Doesn't make any sense, but it just, so she still possesses the amnesia potion. It just won't work on him because it hasn't been invented.
But she says, I knew that the amnesia had worked.
Oh, wow.
But that's before he says amnesia potion has not been invented yet, so it will not work.
Wow. So it's her intricately constructed house of cards, I guess, has a flaw or two.
But then a really nice turn on this. It's not a meet cute, but it's a fun, now that they're a couple thing. Too bad, because I wanted to use some on you. Which I assume they giggle as the blood from the murdered sex partners drains down like a bottle of empty beer from row 12 to row 1. So
the corpse does this sort of when you drop the bottle and it rolls all the way down and you can hear it. And that's
hitting each seat post on the way down. Yes,
that, but with a corpse.
Yes.
So after they've watched the movie, they go to the Marilyn Manson concert.
Yes, they kissed passively first. Satan parked in a black driveway. Mm-hmm. It's rare that a lot of things are black, that are just sort of you don't think about. But giving credit to the driveway is kind of a nice twist.
Yeah, that's good world building.
Yeah, so the driveway in some sense is contributing to the whole overall evil sense of the place.
So they go to the concert. They do the devil fingers at him, which I could think is just the horn, the metal sign. They refer to Marilyn Manson as Marlon, which I thought was very funny.
Yes.
And at some point in time, so they're doing the devil fingers. He's on stage screaming, and then he says, "I would like to peasant X black X tier X." He said, "I ran on stage. Lucian, Samaro, don't know who that is, Snap, and Hades were there. They started to play their instillments. I got on stag."
Yes.
So they have they're doing a weird definition of being the opening band by playing a song in the middle of the headliner's set here.
After casually going to let's chart her night. I mean, do that as a family circus thing.
Okay.
To do a lame example of it. She drives off with Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Makes
in his
out
flying
with him,
car.
Goes into the theater, sees two people going at it, who are then murdered by a serial killer as they sit there and laugh. Nothing happens, so they watch the end of The Exorcist, and then
she kills someone in the theater. She
kills
sucks
someone
her blood
in the theater.
Yeah.
And then they casually go to a concert in the middle of it
the theater
and are
craps.
invited on stage by Marilyn Manson. Okay.
Yeah.
So just do that as a family circus. That's a nice.
So she would look at that and be like, "My life sucks," and it's like, you have the most eventful, consequence-free, enjoyable. If this is your thing, you're just living this hedonistic lifestyle. You're making out passively. You've got it good. Quit your bitching.
What is she? What is she getting at here? Well, she sings here. "Well, if you wanted honesty, that's all you had to say." 111. "I do not own the lyrics to that song." I didn't look that up. Do you know?
Yeah, it's do you think it's a Cole Porter original? Do you think it's Billie Holiday?
I think it's probably George M. Cohen. It sounds a little earlier.
Okay, it is MCR,
Okay.
And it is from their song "I'm Not Okay" (parentheses I promise). So I guess she's just she's trying to do the you upload an episode of Family Guy to YouTube and the person always puts no copyright infringement intended or something like that. So.
And then I didn't get this. "My voice sounded like a pentagram between Amy Lee and girl version of Gerard Way."
Okay.
What's a pentagram between two people?
She has used this once or twice before, and my understanding of it is she means a Venn diagram, where she's sort of in the middle of that.
Okay.
I do not know what she I mean, if she means that as a misspelling, I don't know what she means, but I think that's what I've understood. She means a combination.
Okay. Then everyone clapped. Satan got an eructation.
Now, I had that marked as a DSOTW.
Oh, sorry.
And I did look it up this morning, though, and that's a real word. That's not just a misspelling of... Yeah, so it means burping, like belching.
Right. That's an odd... It's just an odd response. It doesn't seem very gothic. I don't know.
Yeah. If you ever like went out and, we were, having beers with someone and, had to need to burp or something. And then after you burped, you said, I just got an eructation. I think they would be out the door like before their, the beer had settled back on the counter.
Right. And so plot-wise, then Lucian starts playing the wrong song, and that leads to, what is happening here?
A wanton act of violence.
Everyone just goes bananas.
Yeah.
What is the song? It doesn't say, right?
Yeah, maybe that was that was the one, the Billie Holiday song that we thought it might have been. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Huh. All right.
But yeah, so he plays the wrong song, and James Potter, Harry's vampire's dad, tries to shoot his arm off because he's made this mistake. So James Brown used to like fine his musicians if they just even missed a beat type of thing. I guess this is just that sort of perfectionist band leader in this world.
Yeah, he used to. James Brown, you can see it on almost all of his concerts. He does a movement just integrated in with his dancing. Where he'll point to the band member and they know they just lost like $100 or something. It's very cruel.
Yeah, really. Right. For like, one of the tightest bands there were things that you would never, after our shows, there are sometimes things where it's like, well, this happened, but no one in the audience noticed, but it delighted us. But, that was probably James Brown's band. No one noticed, man. Like all I did was miss a downbeat on.
What a high level of functioning though to being James Brown, but at the same time scolding very at the moment your band. I was like, why don't you just concentrate on being a slightly better James Brown? You'd be the greatest James Brown ever.
Yeah, but I guess it is like those Head and Shoulders commercials where it's like, but you don't have dandruff. Like, well, I know. Like, you're the best band there is out there. You're the tightest funk ensemble. Yep, exactly. Hand over your paycheck.
Yeah.
So yeah, they. But then, as he tries to shoot off the arm, Lucan shouts, "OMFG, no, 1-1." But it was too late. James tried to shoot off his arm, and then, 1,000 ellipses. I jumped sexily in front of the bullet, and then everything goes black.
Right. Still don't know what's going on there, but I'll roll forward with that.
Sure. So chapter 39 is where things get very interesting and weird. It is subtitled, I Am a Trolling Genius, LOLs. And this is, well, I guess we have some, there's a lot to unpack here.
I said, I'll say it now and then we'll get into it. I think this is the slam dunk. This is obviously, the whole thing is a troll and this is the tell. You disagree. So let's dig in.
So, yeah, what has happened essentially is the author's note. This is all written very in normal English. It says, I am an extremely immature, pathetic idiot girl, I know, out of boredom. I crack this girl's password for fun, and it took less than 8 minutes to do it, too. It says, flame, laugh, do whatever you want, quote, preps. And so essentially what's being implied here is that someone has logged into her fanfiction.net account by guessing her password. I must know what the password was. I assume she did not use a password generator to have random letters, numbers, and syllables. I assume it was like Gerard Way or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
But X. So it starts to get sort of weird and meta where he writes what a fan fiction of her fan fiction, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I I don't know if it's real, but like if it seemed so beyond what this author had been capable of that it's that sort of meta fiction type of thing rearing its head, and it seemed so late in the game for it, and it seemed so out of character and beyond her scope that it didn't seem to me like she had just decided to do this all along.
No, but that's what I'm saying. This is another person doing both things, obviously. And that's because why wouldn't she just erase it? And do you really think that she had her password cracked and that someone was able to input this? I guess I would need to know more about how did this get published, and I don't know anything about what the format was at the time. It just seems unlikely.
Because the author, so he publishes his own chapter, and then he reveals she had the next chapter saved in like the draft system here, and so he publishes it again. So that sure, like the fact that she was writing these out as drafts and then perhaps scheduling them as opposed to banging them out in 5 minutes and hitting send in between 7th grade classes. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe someone can fill us in on this. I didn't, in looking at the extensive Wikipedia on it, I did not see anyone mention this as being the slam dunk that I think it is. So maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it's plausible.
Yeah, no matter what, it's unpredictable. I did not expect to have this sort of metatextual thing happen 9/10 of the way through the book.
And speaking of something at the time, it was as though remember Carlos Danger, a.k.a. Anthony Wiener?
Sure.
The original dick pic hack. He said 10 minutes after he accidentally sent it, hacked. And as everyone pointed out, wow, you got control of your account very quickly, didn't you? So that same situation to me here seems like, really? This girl who's on vacation, did she take her account back? Like, how did it all work? I just don't know.
Right, yeah. This guy didn't, change it and keep control of it. He just logged out and never decided to log back in. I don't know.
You're saying guy, which I'm not slamming you for, but do you have any reason to believe that it's a guy?
I mean, in the author's note, he says, I am an extremely immature, pathetic, idiot girl. I cracked this girl's passy for fun. It just seemed... Okay. I recognize that tone from, like...
Okay.
I feel like if it was a fellow girl of her same age, she would have, like, maybe called her a bitch the way this girl does to Brittany type of thing.
Sure. Okay.
Maybe.
No, it's a solid theory. I just wondered.
But yeah, so let's examine what he did to sort of like pick apart her style, and then we can read the actual draft that she had posted for chapter 39.
Sure.
So just some of the things that the author was very familiar with her style. It says, I gave him a rueful smile. I'm sorry, it's something I had to do to fulfill my duty as the noble Gothic Mary Sue. So he understood that this was a Mary Sue self-insert type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Then he says, Bloody Mary Smith suddenly popped into the room for no apparent reason. So he's, we have also seized on the suddenly and the everyone just peering for no reason. So he's, he studied the master.
Yeah, I found it oddly way less compelling to have someone sort of do I thought it was pretty, unintentional term here, bloodless, a satire of this person.
Huh.
Like, wouldn't someone who was doing this make more merciless fun of this person? It just seems very, very, just bland.
Right. Well, if he's been lurking on fanfiction.net and reading all 38 chapters up to this point, it's not like he's, at the Algonquin Round Table in his meantime.
You're not a fan of the Algonquin Round Table. It's odd that you would pull out.
But I know it as shorthand for a group of thinkers and such like that.
Sure. So I don't have a lot of notes for his, we're going to call it his parody here.
Sure. I mean, so she dies and then evaporates in the sun. They sing Ding Dong, the Sioux is dead. And then I thought this was kind of a fun... it's sort of smart, like Twilight Zone-y kind of thing. She goes to hell, where then she has become a prep. Mm-hmm. Ebony realized on her shoulder she was carrying a pretty bag with an eagle on it that said "Live Your Life" written all over the bag. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that type of thing, but I guess it's some sort of proto live, laugh, love type of thing. And then she was decked out in clothes, preps to the extreme, wearing stuff from Abercrombie & Fitch, American Leaguer, and Hollister. And then this was, I liked, panicked. Ebony hastily tried to take off the Hollister polo, but underneath it, there was another Hollister polo underneath. So it's like Hollister polos all the way down. So that made me, chuckle in terms of what this woman's version of prep hell would be.
Yes, the repeated underneath, I thought was. But Ebony frowned and looked under her shirt. All she saw was a bra underneath. Dare I point out it's from the Aerie line, available at American Eagle? I think you do dare point that out, because that would be otherwise be lost on me. So she slits her wrists and mumbled to herself, "Oh my God." So I mean, that's not bad. That's okay.
Yeah, no, but yeah, it is. You're correct that it could be much more pointed and funnier just to do that. Like "Ding dong, the Sioux is dead" is pretty cringy, I guess, as the preps would say in the comments here.
Right. So that's end crap fic / end crap fic. Also seemed a little, I don't know. Again,
sure,
could have been better.
Right. If Sex Man had got his hands on this, that would have been.
Oh yeah.
I can only imagine. It's a great what if of our time.
So then he or she publishes the chapter that was in the, what does he call it? The thingy,
document manager
content
thingy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If you want to see the original content this chick had planned for this chapter, I accessed it through the document manager thingy, which I copied and pasted. You can read it here. So we might as well get ahead of it. He pasted here, and then it is repasted verbatim as chapter 40.
Yes.
So very, Dwight David Thrashian, the same stuff in there twice.
Yes. That took me a second because I didn't realize what was happening when he said, "I'm going to paste the chapter that was in the document management thingy." I wasn't really sure what was going on, so I was a little confused by the repeated chapter.
Yeah. We can just discuss it here. This is chapter 39.5/40. She wakes up again in the school nurse's office. And Sirius
Norris's office.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, so when I looked to make sure these were copied and pasted, I was like, oh, she actually retyped this. Like, they misspelled Norse here as nurse. It's like, oh, no, she just misspelled nurse a couple times in different ways throughout the same chapter.
And again, I'm trying to, my brain trying to make sense of it is like, Norse, a Norseman, Gothic.
Sure. Right. Valkyries, like
big horns. So, but quickly like, oh, okay. They don't, normally Norses don't have O faces. So I got it quick. Nice. But she was on a special Gothic coffin, which again, please describe the special Gothic coffin.
Yes. It's like a special mongoose, I guess.
Right.
I mean, coffins, the funeral homes are sort of known for the upselling, right? I guess. Like you can have the bottom of the line coffin, which, I would not bury my dead hamster in that, but like if you want, yeah. Or you can upgrade for just a couple $1,000s more to the velvet lined one, and or the special Gothic coffin for a mere $5,000 more.
Yeah, but again, she can only describe clothes, but I just would have loved the description of the special Gothic coffin.
And then he says, Sirius says, "You were almost shot, but the ballet could not kill you since you were from another time." So that is another just sort of unique spin on time travel, is that you become immortal just as you're transferring back in time. Is that where the My Immortal comes from?
I didn't think of that. But
I just thought about that in real time, yeah.
If you form another time, you are immortal from ballets. That would be a look.
That's wisdom from on high.
There's not much that I haven't read this kind of fiction, but that would be I guess maybe a slight twist on time travel.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Like they'd have to sort of hand wave that away. I mean, we did the Avengers Endgame last week. We spent approximately 54 hours watching that, and I still don't understand the time travel in it. So the fact that this book just sort of makes a little bit more sense than that right off the top of its head it's an accomplishment.
Yeah, is it up to like Time Cop level, where if you stand in the same spot, with your person from another time, somehow it like blows up the universe or something?
Oh, wow. I've not seen that one, but that's a good twist on it too.
Yeah. Well done, Tata. Good twist.
In Avengers, we sort of pointed out that they are just like, it's going to be like in Back to the Future, Bill and Ted, and they say Time Cop. They say all those movies. It would have been great if they listed My Immortal. But it's not like My Immortal. You can die if you're from another time.
Yeah, they do a Ernest Cline right in the middle of their own movie, recalling all fondly all the classic 80s movies.
Mm-hmm. So she gasps because she sees Lucian, who has two arms. I'm not really sure what the reveal is with that. I mean, I guess that's a something he used to not have, but I had not picked up on that.
Well, he was going to get his arm shot off, so I did not follow the arm. The arm thing is supposed to be that's the signifier. That's the, spinning top in Inception or something. Yeah. Yes, but I can't follow.
Yeah, because so she had seen his death, and then they had prevented it, and they had brought him in on a stretcher. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. So, she says that Snap was possessed by Snap back then. I also don't understand. Right? I mean, I'm not misreading that. To be honest, Snap was possessed by Snap back then, said James Potter.
Yes. I don't know.
Anyway, and then goes back to her own time. Is that how you understand this? Because she starts hanging out with Bloody Mary, who she's just referring to as Hermione now.
To be honest, I don't understand this. No.
Okay. I guess she does go back to her own time. Hermione says, "Let's go listen to GC and cut ourselves 666. We opened the con men room door sexily, and then, ellipses, I gasped, longer ellipses, Draco was there doing it with Snap." And so can you guess their reaction to this? They're angry. They're seeing, her boyfriend is doing it with Snap.
I assume, please, this is not only immoral, this is a violation for both of us, for all of us. Please.
So she rends her garment. She drops to her knees in despair. She says, "You fucking prep." We all yielded angrily.
We all.
Yeah. They all used a one exclamation point and then two ones as they yielded.
You betrayed us. 111 shooted vampire angrily as he took out his Blake gun.
That's only to be used on Dodgers relief pitcher Blake Trinan.
And then do you have the next line there? Because I shall not read this.
I don't. I sort of just, the teacher-student sex, the various orgies that are to come or have happened, I've sort of just taken general notes about.
Yeah, let's just that. But anyway, the next line is quite something coming from a teenager.
Damn it, now I want to know what it was.
Should I read it?
Yes.
Again, all disclaimers.
People can assemble our voices saying whatever they want to.
That's true. We have said enough
thousands
words.
of hours.
All right. This is quoting from Tata herself, the author or whoever is manufacturing this person. This is not Mike Nelson. I do not condone, nor do I enjoy this, but for your to shed light on this, I shall do it, but it is under protest. Here it is. "No, you don't understand, one," screamed Draco sadly as he took his thingy out of snakes. So, may God have mercy on my soul. That's what happened there.
If we can just parse that for a second.
We can't. Snakes.
Yeah. So that grammatically, that means snakes thingy. I'm just going to leave it there. Docking. So there we've got she runs back to her room and slits her wrists, which is what Hermione had suggested they go to do before that. So again, her murdering that one person in the movie theater only allowed her to escape her wildly erratic lifestyle for a brief moment.
But he says that sadly, Draco says that. And then her response is, "No shit, you fucking sook, you preppy bastard." 111 said Willow, trying to take him, "You rock girl 1. I ran suicidally to my room. I sexily took a steak out." And again, it's she went to the freezer and yes, got out the Omaha package and prepared the dinner.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on there.
Well, yes. Early on, that was revealed as the only way to kill a vampire, even though they've all been shooting guns at each other and such. But she obviously does not follow through with that because we have, I think, 4 more chapters left in the book. So our Mary Sue cannot kill herself at this moment. That's probably a trait of the Mary Sues in fanfiction, I guess, is constantly dramatically threatening to kill themselves. I would assume that probably showed up a lot in these types of books.
Yeah. It doesn't play well. All right, so then Yeah, the hacker then adds his own note to the end of it.
Okay.
He says, "Idiot's note. Ugh, I know, terrible. But then again, this wouldn't be called the worst fanfic ever if not for the fact that the writing standards meet the level of a day-old fetus."
Wow.
So again, not a very good stinger on the end of that.
But yeah, it's it's like the people who are heckling a baseball crowd are guys who have been sitting in the bleachers drinking old styles all day long. You're not exactly getting the best minds to do that. So it's the same thing with people who are going to heckle fan fiction.
True. It's not Jonathan Franzen coming in and saying, let me have a crack at this, right?
And I realize I just insinuated that anyone who would spend their time heckling fan fiction would have to be an idiot. But as this enters hour 2 of this recording session.
Right. Yes, disclaimer, of course. We have people on our forum who have written fanfic, and so no, we're not. This is a different level.
Yeah,
so
there's a reason we picked this one. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, chapter 40 happens, and then chapter 41. Chapter 40 is the same thing. Chapter 41 begins the story anew. She's got her password back. She's changed it to something more secure. She's got like LastPass installed to protect this 2-factor authentication set up. This will never happen again.
Yeah. Her phone rings in England to let her know that she's good to go to get back into.
Yes. But what I liked about this one is that it recons the previous chapter, which had been posted twice. Like that was how solidly in the canon it was, and it just like it completely undoes everything that she had posted.
Yeah, again, plot wise, I'm out of it here.
Yeah, it's baffling.
I can't do it.
Yeah. But the author's note I thought was great. It says, "To everyone who keeps flammen dis get es lif, I bet you probably oughtn't know who Gerard Way is. You're probably all preps and posers." And so that's, I bet you probably don't know who Gerard Way is. And I was like, that is a physical impossibility at this point in time. If you have read through chapter 41 of My Immortal, not to know who Gerard Way is that's crazy. That's crazy talk.
But she does issue the disclaimer about the hacker, and it is new way some one haked into me account 2 Ks inexplicably. That seems to be like a communist thing or something, America or whatever.
Right. Well, cancer, yeah.
In November, and they put up my last chapter, but now there is a new one. Sorry for not updating G4 a while, but I've been really busy. Trying to finish the story before the new movie comes out. So, yeah. So when does that place this? So now we have a timestamp on this.
I think it was 2006, but like, new movie. I also think it's later revealed that like the last book hasn't come out. I think there was also, the next author's note, chapter 42 reveals that they're waiting on. I think it was the Half-Blood Prince, maybe, or no, the Deathly Hallows. Anyway, but like there was, so there was still chance that all this stuff could have actually played out in the series as she was writing it.
Weird. But time-wise, Raven still hasn't gone to England. Huh. The last note of the author's note is, "Raven, you rock, girl, have fun in England."
Well, I mean, it's possible that she put the trip off because she needed to. She knew that Ebony needed her guidance on the editorial department. Like, it could be it could be like Jimmy Stewart trying to get out of Bedford Falls. Raven is just like, putting her life on hold to do the community a greater good.
That shot of Raven walking into the camera when behind her, Tara says, "You can't go because I need you to edit the last 2 chapters." And then the music sting, and he just have pure horror in his eyes.
Yes.
As Raven realizes her future is editing Tara's book. Yeah.
She's never getting to London. Yeah.
That's right.
Amazing.
Wow.
But so she wakes up in the nurse's office in 1980. So for the 3rd chapter in a row, she's waking up in a nurse's office, but this time it's in 1980. And this is established. This was a nice detail by she's looking around the nurse office, and there was a gothic black Beatles calendar with a picture of the Beatles wearing eyeliner and black gloves on it. It said 1980. So I mean, Again, tip the hat. A great mental image.
So who do you who is this an alternate timeline where the Beatles are alive? Are together as a band and still
they've entered a goth phase
and then went goth, or is it an edited poster?
Oh man, well,
I love to think that it's so. When did John Lennon died in 81? Was it?
Oh really? Okay.
So 80s. So it's, I guess in this timeline she's either keeping John Lennon alive,
right,
or the Beatles, replaced him and went on to their gothic phase, or someone is making Black Beatles gothic posters in the 80s.
So we're sort of left to wonder then, like, the morality of this. The Beatles, they ended with the long and winding road, like a farewell statement, and obviously tragic that John Lennon was killed. But we've all seen sort of what the Rolling Stones have done in the meantime, just releasing disposable albums and sort of cashing in on a legacy. And we're left to wonder if she saved his life. Was that did she do the right thing in terms of if they've entered a gothic phase? I think we can all argue that that's a serious misstep and tarnishing of their legacy.
Yeah, the Rolling Stones disco album, right? I will be your knight in shining armor. Oh, guys, put the microphone down.
Right, yes. Yeah, the Mick Jagger album, She's the Boss, where he's sort of in his tighty-whities on the album cover and stuff, it's not good. So,
ooh, yeah.
And we don't even have to get into, I don't know. I've come around to Wings a bit over the past year. They had some, there's some solid cuts on the albums.
I believe it's a bit of a troll on my beloved wife Bridget's part that she loves Wings. Now she loves the Beatles, let's be clear. But she just is such a fan of Paul McCartney that she's like, makes a strong case for not all of Wings, but when she hears a Wings song on the radio, she's very happy.
There was a Riff Tracks conference call a week or two ago where we were talking about a short called Airplane Trip by Jet, and she started singing the song Jet by Wings.
Yeah, there you go.
Which I don't think anyone picked up on it, but I was pumping my fist in the background. Anyway.
So help me out with this. So she wakes up, she's in 1980 because there's a Black Beatles calendar with them with eyeliner on. Makes sense, right? OMFG, I'm back in Tim again, 111. I screamed loudly. Suddenly Satan, this is actually Voldemort for photo refreshness. What does that mean?
Oh, man, I don't have it written in front of me, so it's very hard to...
So this is actually Voldemort for, the number 4, photo is spelled correctly, REFRENSS.
Man, I mean, it's a photo reference, but I don't understand what that means. Like explaining, so Satan is Voldemort. That's been clarified.
That's been well established.
Yeah. So I don't know what she's feeling the need to clarify there.
For photo reference?
Do you think it's like the in last week's chapter where she tried to describe a specific dress that Amy Lee was wearing and put in a http:// and the link was missing from our documents?
Oh, I like that theory.
That's my theory. The links have been removed in this. They were not preserved.
And then Voldemort was wearing a Blake leather Jackson, which, again, how can this not be a troll? She capitalizes it. She makes it... Was she using an early form of correction? Or anyway.
Yeah. Was it T9? Was that how you'd write on a phone back in the day?
Yeah. Blake tight jeans and fishnet pants, which I did not know were a thing.
No, that's surprising. That's an innovation. Time travel innovations, fashion innovations.
So she sees that, and can you guess her reaction?
She just is. She realizes she's in over her head and has sort of like tampered with the strings of time, and it's not worth saving her beloved Draco by tampering with time. So
he looks so sexa, I almost had an orgy 11.
Okay, well, it's a different tactic than what I was
anticipating. She took a different, she went a different route.
Okay. That seems to happen a lot when we ask each other to guess what's
That is weird,
happen.
Yes. You'd think that we would learn from our experiences.
We're not honed in on the other.
Yeah.
And then I think she sort of sizes it up. She says, "I guessed that when I had slit my wrists, I went back in Tim instead of dying." So it's like, okay, sure, why not? I guess she has slit her wrists maybe 6 times in this book, and that's never happened. But I'll accept it at this point in time. Why not? We're near the end.
And I'm sorry, we just have to read on. This is Satan. "No, you're not dead," Satan reassured suicidally as he smoked a cigarette sexily and smoke came all over his face. Oh, it's just a picture that. Put that in a movie. Animate that.
That would be
reassured
pretty
suicidally as he smoked a cigarette sexily. Smoke came all over his face.
So again, like, the age of someone writing this, I hope that they don't have other mental images there. But brother, it's delightful. And so there's a Satan, aka Voldemort, is reassuring her here. But then a sexy gothic bi guy walks up, and her reaction is amazing. "Who the fuck is that?" I asked angrily because I did not know him. And I mean, I say that anytime I don't know somebody. Yes. So, I mean, that checks out.
I do not make a lot of new friends because I do the same thing. Yes.
Right, yes. Your church pastor is like, well, this is a new parishioner. He's actually a refugee who has he's a new member of our community.
That's right.
And Voldemort says, "This is Hedwig. He used to be in X Black X Tier X, their band, but he had to drop out because he broke his arm." So I think in one of our former fan fictions, we had Voldemort and Hedwig making out, and we rightfully assumed that Hedwig was the owl that he is in the Harry Potter universe. But I guess in this retelling, he is just a sexy gothic bi guy. So it makes that a little less scandalous.
Their bassist or the drummer or something, a disposable member of their band.
Yeah, and they seem to have a lot of issues with arms in this band, I guess. So that's sort of their Spinal Tap drummer type of
right. Well, that's why I wondered whether that was a signifier again, like, oh, he broke his arm. Is that like he got shot or whatever? But I don't. Plot wise, I'm not going to follow that.
Or a Jedi type of thing. Like it's.
I'm instead going to issue a Sonic challenge.
Oh boy.
Here we go. It's tough because you got to do it in such a short period of time. Have you ever done that game where you have to do an impression of someone with one word?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I've heard other people do it now.
This is your challenge. Bye, I said all sexily.
God. All right. So I'm Ebony. I'm Raven.
You're Ennaby.
Yeah. Bye.
Oh boy. What's the it's an internet meme, right? From like Tombstone or whatever, where the who is it? The actor, tough guy, cowboy actor sitting in the chair. Oh, the guy from
Val Kilmer?
Red Dawn. He's dead now.
Harry Dean Stanton?
No, the less older guy. The Powers Booth.
Well, that's everybody. Okay.
Powers Booth. In that he says, like, we're leaving town or we're getting out of here or something, and he sarcastically goes, "Bye." And so people use that as I believe that's a popular meme.
Well, yeah, that was pretty sexy there, too. So
thank you. Yes, I tried. All right, so now there's Samaro, who I don't know. This is where the plot, I'm going to turn it over to you in chapter 41.
Yeah, Samaro was in the band in the last chapter, but I didn't recognize the name, and I don't know if anyone has changed their name to him. But they go to, I think, the Great Hall, where Lucian, James, Sirius, and Snake are all there. Lucian wouldn't talk with James because he had tried to shoot him. I mean, that checks out. He says, "Go fuck yourself, you fucking douche," he shouted at him. "Draco is never gone to be friends with Vampire now." So he has never... He's foreseeing both of their children from the past to the future. And he's also foreseeing that his son, Harry, will change his name to Vampire. So that's maybe he has a time turner of his own. Or a Morty McFlee Tim machine.
Right. Theories on this. James almost shot Lucius, I said, indigoally. INDIGOALLY.
I mean, yeah, indigoily is not a goth color, indigo. So indignantly, maybe?
It is so far off. There's no spell correction would ever recognize. Indigoily? I always like to think she's reaching for something else. That's why I want her to be, aspiring to different words.
Right.
But of course, I thought of indignantly, but it's not even
close.
I mean, that's like 30% right. Yeah.
Maybe she is like synesthesia, and she can shout things like a color.
Oh, that could be. Yes. Mm-hmm. Indigoily. Yeah. I had a girlfriend who had synesthesia, which I can never say. It's my Ogden.
Yeah. Oh, great.
But especially with numbers. And she said she would say with certainty that the number 1 is female, the number 2 is male, the number 3 is obviously male. And we would say, what are you talking? Like, what? Because you guys don't know.
Oh, man. That must be torture.
Completely insistent upon it. And the more you quizzed her on it, the more angry she got. It's just like, that's because they are. Do you not see that? And I had never heard of this phenomenon, so it was frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to understand, but I guess that's probably the equivalent of the dress, which, Lauren and I initially had that disagreement where, and, it eventually flipped for me. So, but it must be a very weird way to see the world.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, we get another making out scene. Voldemort and Hedwig make out, and everyone watches, and I think that's where the chapter ended for me. But so Hedwig, unfortunately, is a guy, not an owl. So just that's out the door.
Dang. I just wondered if she's going a little Canadian or maybe Scottish. Be quiet, you guys, I said sexily. Me plan was working out great. Now I could make Voldemort good without doing it with him.
Well, that's a, part of the Harry Potter verse is people are, they're all coming from the UK, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no, it hasn't been said that she's American here. Like, if we're accepting it at its face value, of course.
So she's been smothering her Scottish accent, and then now it's just coming out? Okay.
Maybe it only comes out when she's, like, feeling indigo-ily. When some people, like, they lapse when they've been drinking or something into their, like, childhood accent or something.
Yeah, our own Sean Thomason goes back home, and he says he reacquires his Holler's accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's the end of that. Chapter 42 is subtitled The Black Parade.
This is
MCR
interesting.
Classic. Yeah.
The author's note. Do you have anything on this?
I don't.
I believe she thanks a different person. There's a new editor.
Who?
Medusa.
I missed that.
Well, this is more like a. You've had books edited, right? You get the rough edit usually from your direct editor, and then you get another finer edit. But then you get the copy edit.
Yeah,
and so this is Fangs for to help with facts, Medusa, you rock. So this could be just the fine sifting copy editing.
Sure. Yes. Right.
So
Raven provided structural guidance and fact checking. What could have been fact checked here? My God.
So indigoily, stat.
Or maybe trying to avoid libel, I guess. That could have been just making sure everything is, written like, this happened allegedly type of thing.
Well, yeah, one of the first sentences is about listening to a shitty Avril Lavigne song. There could have been, the note from Medusa, like, we're hanging out there a little bit with this.
Sure.
However, it is in keeping with the character, and so it is not in any way slander or libel. So if you want to keep it, just write stat, but I make a note here.
Fangs, Medusa, stat. Yeah, so listening to that shitty Avril Lavigne song is Dumbledore, who is sitting in front of us cruelly. He looked more young than he did in the future. And I just like, that's pretty zen, actually. That's I like that description.
That is true, unless you're, I guess, Rob Lowe or something.
Merlin, yeah. But yeah, so the iPod is later revealed. Something is strong about it. Something is strange about the iPod. It was slowly chonging Dumbledore didn't notice. I knew what the iPod was chonging into. Morty McFly's Tim Machine. But there's no description of what it, has changed into to become the time machine type of deal, or why it was an iPod in the first place.
I'll be honest, I did not pick up on that. That it turned into a time machine. I knew that it was some magic, it was doing something, but I didn't know. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah. So if you didn't understand that, this is something I didn't understand, and I'm guessing nobody did. But Voldemort, aka Satan, hops into the Tim Machine to go back in time. He says, "Cool, what's an eye patch?" He whimpered. "It's something you use to listen to music." I yacked. "OMFG, cool." "Wait, what's a 4-letter word for dirt?" he asked in his sexy voice. I guess sand," I said confusingly. "Yeah, I was just trying to make sure you were still the same person," he triumphantly giggled. I have absolutely no idea what that is referring to.
I have the same note. I don't know what... And you were so taken by it that you slammed your own microphone stand there.
Yeah, I knocked over my water bottle, sorry. But
I don't know.
Is it just like, I had to make sure you were real, that type of thing? Like,
I guess.
Like a signifier they had that you could... I don't know. All right. If anyone knows, please let us know, because I think it comes up one more time, but I had no idea.
I by the way... Dumb sentence of the week. It's something you use to listen to music. I yacked was one of mine. So that's the first a yacked.
Yes,
and it is spelled like a yak. So that's a lot of dumb sentences in this one. But this is one of my favorite sentences, and I don't think you can get this in any other book. I don't know if John Milton wrote this at any point.
Okay.
Satan was still asleep, so he couldn't tell what was going on. I love that you have the character of Satan, again, sleeping. He's in the middle of it all, just, look, I know there's a lot of Tim machines being passed back and forth and a lot of spells look, I live a busy lifestyle. I nap when I can.
Prince of Darkness needs some shut-eye. Maybe that's Adam and Eve could have said that in Paradise Lost. Like, hey, he's asleep. Let's grab the apple.
It's like I have a friend who's a pilot who can just sleep anywhere. I used to work night shifts at a cheese factory. There was a guy who would just, at the break, would jump into the dark room where we stored the boxes and immediately go... I was like, man, that is a talent.
It's amazing. Yeah.
And Satan has that same ability, so he is a very powerful being.
And so, Willow says "Konnichiwa, bitch," and I was just happy that Willow was back to life. It made me happy. But then we get a little bit of plot. It says, "Ebony, I was so worried about you, but I know you can't fucking die because you're a vampire. Snape came back because that girl Brittany freed him. I never liked her. She was a bad student," Trevelry said reassuredly. "That bitch, did she also free Hagrid and Lupin?" I shouted angrily. I hated Brittany because she was a fucking prep. I just wrote it. Brittany is sort of the Blériana of My Immortal. She's just off camera and, a little bit revolves around her, but you never really actually get to see her.
Oh, I wonder if anyone alerted Brittany to it, like, years later, like, really? Right. There's a whole book. What did I do? What?
Yeah, it was someone she went to high school with or something like that.
Yes.
But I'm of course I spoke too early. She does go downstairs. There was hardly anyone else in the stairs, and here was an atmosphere of horror. On the way, I saw Brittany laughing on the stairs. She was wearing a slutty pink shirt with flowers on it, a blue jean skirt Abercrombie, and pink stilettos. She looked just like a pentagram of those fucking preps, Hilary Duff and Lindsay Lohan. So again, pentagram used to be a combination of the two. Yeah, combination. But so then she casts a torture spell on Brittany and puts up her middle finger. And then when she reaches the Great Hall, I saw Vampire Potter and says, "OMG, Vampira!" I yielded.
What?
So she's, this author might be familiar with the works of Ed Wood.
Oh, yes.
If Vampira from Plan 9 is making an appearance, sort of the proto-Elvira.
Oh my God, Vampira, I yielded. We hugged each other happily. He looked at me with his gothic red eyes and spiky black hair. He looked at him with his hair, which is interesting. Black eyeliner and eyeshadow, like iPod. Is that a thing?
Eyeshadow? No, I mean, I don't think they ever released that product. That'd be kind of cool.
He was wearing a Blake Leather Jackson leather pants, a Panic at the Disco concert shirt, and a black Congress shoes. He looked more like Joel from Good Charlotte than ever.
Sure, you put on a T-shirt of a band who isn't like Good Charlotte, you're going to look more like Good Charlotte than ever.
So then, plot-wise, just help me out. Draco, you mean that fucking poser who betrayed you? Vimper snarkled with anger in his sexy voice. And then here is what I don't understand. All caps. I know, N-O, but we have to find him, I said smarty. I mean, well, I know, comma, but we have to find him. I said smartly? Or I said...
Well, I mean,
smartly?
Smartly, though. I mean, she's sort of correcting him. I think that Draco betrayed her by touching thingies with Snape. And then, so I guess they have to find him to prevent Voldemort from killing him, I think, because Voldemort at some point in time said, you have not killed Draco like I told you to. I'm just going to have to take matters into my own hands, which, maybe Dark Lord should have done that from the beginning.
But then all the lights go out, and then the dork mark appeared? What is that?
The dark mark in Harry Potter was like a snake appears in the sky, and that's the sign of Voldemort, and that's how they know he's still alive or something. So the dork mark is just her misspelling of that. It suddenly appears, of course.
Okay, so then everyone shouts, and then they ran into the Great Hall suddenly. So, all right, so that's the end of that chapter.
Yeah, we've got 2 more chapters left. Chapter 43, they're now in the Great Hall. Draco is there, and she's angry at him, but also feels sorry for him at this point in time.
Yeah, because he... I think I have it. Let me go to my notes. Sorry, I think I have a description.
Okay.
Wait, are we on 43? Sorry, I'm switching between 2 docs. Oh, I have a Sonic challenge for you then. Sorry.
Okay, great.
That was my first thing. I'm not okay, he screamed depressedly. So back off the mic.
I am, all right. I'm not okay.
That
yeah.
Boy, that was depressing.
That's what I'm saying as I run to my room and slam my door, and log on to LiveJournal to talk about how much I hate my parents.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
Have you ever done that? Screamed at your parents?
My parents? I don't think so. No, we had a pretty good relationship. I mean, there were times when I felt aggrieved as a teenager for not being allowed to do something or getting in trouble. But yeah, I don't think I never did the I hate you, I wish I was never born routine.
Yeah, no, I never did that either.
Good.
Yeah, but I didn't wear a lot of black fishnets and stuff from Hot Topic. So
yeah, I know things could have been different if that had happened. I had to return a Metallica shirt one time because there was a little logo on the side of like a stick figure, and it turned out he was giving a middle finger, so I had to take it back to I think Spencer's Gifts is where they sold all that stuff.
Oh boy, that is humiliating, right?
Oh, extremely. I don't even think I got to wear it to school. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always that risk of did I tell this on the podcast before?
Right.
I don't know, but there was a kid in 5th grade who was the kid who would like pick up cigarettes on the ground that were not fully and would light them like in 5th grade. Like, ooh, this guy is tough. But he wore a shirt that was like a Yosemite Sam, and it had it was a parody shirt, obviously, and it had something dirty on it that no kid understood. That's how dirty it was. And the teacher came into the room, the alpha male, teacher who would spank kids and stuff back then.
Wow.
And he took his shirt, peeled it off of his body, and turned it inside out and shoved it back on him and said,
"Oh my God,
your mom's got to come and get you." And all the kids are just going like, "I don't even know what that was."
Yeah, is that the guy he really likes Bugs Bunny and doesn't care for his antagonist? I
Yeah,
guess?
oh, that seemed whimsical to me. Don't know what that saying was at the bottom of it.
My friend John in 4th grade wore the classic "I'm Bart Simpson, who the hell are you" shirt, and Mrs. McCannell, I guess, had a shirt ready for this occasion, but it was like turquoise blue, oversized, and she had, or one of her kids had, used puffy paint. Do you remember that from the 80s?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
She had puffy painted. There was a very shitty profile of a dog's face, and then it said "dog" in huge letters above it. So he got to wear that for the rest of the day.
Wow. Nice. Oh. All right, back to the plot here.
Yes. She selectively took the caramel from my pocket.
Yes.
And I had a long time. It took me a long time to figure that out. I think I had to read the rest of the chapter before I realized that meant video camera.
Oh, I have that as a you need to explain this moment.
Oh, yep. It just by pure context. I think later she says she flimmed something or something like that, and then I was like, oh, okay, God, amazing.
What is selectively?
I'm surprised it didn't say it. She probably misspelled seductively, just since she does everything sexily or that type of thing.
Oh, I seductively took the camera from my pocket and then began Frenching Draco sexily?
Yeah, I guess so. That's the rest of the sentence.
All right. Then we get into just there's a big orgy.
Big orgy, yeah.
This is unpleasant.
Yeah, they have some of the professors chained up and they're watching them. And so I was like, yeah, this is unpleasant, ridiculous, immature, out of nowhere, unjustified. But it also is pretty much how the book It ends. So that all-time classic and hit movie. So
is it really? I never...
Yeah,
I don't think I got through it.
There's yeah. I mean, you could have read it for 3 years and not made it all the way through. But there's in order to unite or something to defeat the power as children, they all have to bang in the sewers before they go to fight him. Oh yeah, it's pretty notorious. I don't think they included that in the movie because it's 13-year-olds, I think. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very very strange. But yeah, so there's more parallels than you'd like to think with the Western canon here in My Immortal.
Oh dear. Well, let's end that unpleasantness with we took turns doing torture curses on him because we were all sadists suddenly, and then we get a line of ellipses and then a carriage return and then another line of ellipses.
Yeah, breaking new ground.
And this is the final sentence of the penultimate chapter. A big Blake car that said 666 on the license plate flew straight through the windows, and Snap was in it. 11. Yep. So,
these reveals are sort of they're starting to fall a bit flat when, the same characters are always appearing and gasping and all that sort of stuff.
Although she did throw us off because 666 could be any number of license plates.
True. It could be any character at this point in time.
Yes.
It's like the dealer plates they give you that are the temporary tags. They just all say 666 in this world. Right. But yeah, so keep that in mind. The final chapter, the final sentence is, and Snap was in it. 8 exclamation marks and 2 ones. Chapter 44, the final chapter, begins with Draco shooting angrily, "That's me car," but suddenly it was reveal-eyed who was in the car. It was 10 ellipses, Snape! 5 exclamation marks. As previously stated, as you have revealed, you have undercut your own drama here.
To be fair, she was traveling from her vocation to W. So there could have been a span there where she didn't go back and look at what she had already revealed. So
yeah, it's like you just said. It's hard to remember what we've talked on this podcast when you go a couple weeks in between recording. So,
but where are Raven and what's her name? Methuselah? What is it?
Medusa.
Medusa. Where are they on this?
By this point in time,
your cash cow. You got to rein her in here.
I think they were probably like, we've gotten our $20,000 editorial fee for this. She paid in full. We're just, our heart's not in it anymore. This is the last chapter. We're going to phone it in.
Maybe she went to print without running it through the editorial department. She just thought, I have to get this out. It's in my head.
Yeah, Willow does not show up in chapter 44, so it's potentially that she is, they feuded again and have written her out of the book.
And chapter 44 does not mention Raven? No.
I don't think so.
No, she speculates on who's going to be hot in the movies. Which is, I still can't wait for the movie. One Tom Fleeton is so hot, lol. I hop Harry Will Beckham Gothic, cause me friend told me is really emo in this book. OMG, I'm living W. Pretty soon, can't wait. This will probably be the last chapter until I come back. So
I'm living.
Yeah. I'm leaving.
Okay. She's leaving. Pretty soon.
But I thought she was gone on vacation. So I don't know what her travels or not. Someone should do this. It's like the
need a family circus for that as well.
Yeah, well, it's like the ministry of Paul. I mean, it's sort of, you can piece it together that he goes to Turkey and then he goes here, but it's hard to say when he goes from Rome and then back to Corinth and all of that. It's so we don't know. We can speculate. The shipwreck and all of that, but
yeah. Scholars will piece this together at some point in time.
Right.
But so the action sort of comes to a head here. We do not have I would say, satisfactory ending, but we do have an ending. So we should just we can build towards that. Draco is upset because Snape is in his car. He looks at Ebony sadly. I forgot to tell you, Ebony, Snape made me do it with him. And then, well, one of my dumb sentences. Suddenly, Willow, Bloody Mary, Diabolo, Ginny, Dracula, Fred and Gorge, Hagrid, McGonagall, Dumbledore, Sirius, and Lucian all ran in. So it really is. It's sort of what we were all building to. Suddenly, the entire school ran into the room.
Yep. I've a lot of dumb sentences here, but that's let's just burn them. And this one is we talked about it last week, and I don't think we've had it yet. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle homage.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The Dark Lord shall kill all of you. Then you must submit to him, Snape ejaculated menacingly.
We did talk about the phrase ejaculated, and you mentioned that it was, Sherlock Holmes, and now it is finally paid off.
Yes. So I didn't think it would go there. I mean, this is not a word that you would... This is very, very archaic. So what is going on here? This is another sign of a troll, I felt.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. That and the synonym for belching that she used earlier.
Eructation, yeah.
Yeah, it sort of made you think they were a bit had a vocabulary that would belie how they were presenting themselves online.
Yes. And then plot-wise, again, I don't know.
Well, we got the call back to that thing we were both confused by. Harry screams, "I know a 4-letter word for dirt, cruciatus."
Okay.
And that does not give me any more clarity, unfortunately.
Is that I assume is a spell from Harry Potter?
That sounds. I mean, I think crucio was like the killing curse. It was one of the things you weren't allowed to say. So, but that is a dramatic moment to say that, even if you're misspelling it.
But the root of that would be the cross, right? Not or crucible or something, but not dirt. I wouldn't think.
And just whatever they're referencing there is. It seems like he's putting a twist on the thing we don't understand. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. And dirt is a 4-letter word, right? Like that doesn't.
I don't know. I don't know what she's.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay.
It fell down. Here's a good sentence. It fell down. Snap quickly crawled out of it and picked up the Cydio camera.
Okay.
So I think that's supposed to be action of like something from his wand hit Draco's car.
Okay. Yep.
And he pulled out the video camera.
Yeah. And then so the video camera is from a while back, I guess, and she says, "If you kill me, then these Cydios will be shown to everyone in the skull. Then you can just be like that gothic girl Paris Hilton." He laughed meanly. "No," I screamed. "FYI, I have a picture of you doing it with Lupin." "What's she talking about?" Lupin slurped as he sat in chains. So he might just have like maybe he has one of those like beer drinking helmets on that you take to a baseball game, and he's sucking on one of those as he's being chained up and watching all this unfold.
Another good insult from the Voldemort. "Foolish ignoramuses. yielded Voldemort from his broomstick. Thou shall all die, D-Y-E, soon.
Yeah. One of my favorite things of the book was just those dollar words that she's making the adults use and none of the kids use.
I wonder if does she have like an old-time, assuming again that this is not a troll, like an old-timey grandpa who lives up in the attic or something?
Yeah.
You foolish ignoramuses.
My grandfather would call shoes clodhoppers. Like, so
sure.
Distinct possibility.
All right, so we're almost to the end.
We're pretty much there, yeah. I just sort of they end up in what she describes as they're pointing wands at each other, and she says, "You guys are in a Latin standoff," I shouted desperately. So that's a Mexican standoff, I think is the term.
Was she trying to be PC there or something?
Possibly, I don't know.
Stand of 111. Desperately, yeah, that one is impossible to even try to.
Mm-hmm. But everything has come to a head. Voldemort's pointing a wand at Harry and Neville. There's black guns being drawn, and then I just have the final couple sentences, unless there's anything before them.
No, the final two sentences really put a bow on the whole thing. Read them out.
I cried sexily. I just wanted to go to the common room and slit my wrists with my friends while we watched Shark Attack 3 and Saw and do it with Draco. But I knew I had to do something more impotent. ABRA KEDABRA, I shooted. And that's the end. It ends like we said before, like Inception or like Lady of the Tiger. It's the reader is left to draw their own conclusions.
It is amazing, yeah. I'm trying to think. Well, there's Gone with the Wind. I have that written down here. Last line. Tomorrow, I'll think of some way to get him back. After all, tomorrow is another day. So, we're in media res there. There's another, right? It's the same.
Yeah, sure. It's I feel like there's a lot of things that she's probably referencing here, as she has throughout the entire book.
The Tempest kind of lets it hang. This is the immortal bard. This is his words to the audience.
His sign-off, yeah.
As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free. So I think it joins the canon.
Yeah, that was his his career, I guess.
Yes,
but also,
exactly.
To the audience of the play, applaud so he can leave type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what she's going for. That's her, or her parents revoked her internet access finally after they, received a very disturbed phone call from the vice principal of the school.
Yes,
we've got reports that she's posting some really gross stuff online, and Brittany's parents are, to be frank, very concerned.
I have one more comparison. David Foster Wallace, aforementioned. This is from
absolutely.
The Broom of the System, the final line. You can trust me, RV said, watching her hand. I'm a man of my. And that's the end of the book.
Wow.
So, yeah, in the middle of a sentence.
Well, yeah, that's how Infinite Jest ends soon. It sort of ends in the middle of the story. And you're sort of left to wonder, either restart the book in sort of a meta way of being addicted to the entertainment, or you're left to parse it out, but you're given all these characters and stuff, and then left to your own devices in terms of how you interpret it. And that's what she's given us here.
Right. 1984, last line. He loved Big Brother. So it was an entire bleak, new chapter, but none of it. You just have to imagine it.
Yeah. Wow.
So she's in good company.
I would say so. Yeah, those are some heavy hitters.
Yeah. Well done, Tata.
Oh man, that Broom of the I've not read that, but that's infuriating.
Yes.
Man, yeah. When you get to when you finish reading Infinite Jest, you pretty much Google what happened at the end of Infinite Jest, and there's one sort of explainer that people have sort of decided on as the best thing to do, and so that's what everyone points you to.
Oh, really? Isn't that 7,000 pages long?
Yeah, and I read it on a Kindle, and so you have absolutely no idea when the end is coming because there's so many, footnotes at the end of it that are at the end of the Kindle. So you hit 83% and it's done, and it ends, very much without a satisfying ending. So,
wow,
Yep.
Infuriating.
So, yeah, Ebony and DFW.
Yes, indeed. Wow. Well, what a ride.
It is I would say a ride. I think it's probably a little bit longer than it needed to be, but, very entertaining. And we'll be left for the debate until we actually get some clarification on who wrote the damn thing.
Yeah, I think we should actually gavel our choices to whether or not it is a real person. And not that we can ever find out, but at least we'll be on record as saying which way we go. And so I'd like to hear your final thoughts. If you want to add color about who you actually think it is, or whatever. But I'd like to hear your, gavel it closed. This is who I think it is. Let it stand, and then we'll find out or not find out in the future.
Okay.
So
I think it was a real, sincere person. I think they started to lean into it more by the end of it. I think that the hack was real. So I think that some of the stuff was probably, once they got attention, the audience. It's why you don't share your work with someone before you're done writing it. I think it was definitely influenced by the audience. Clearly, from the author's notes, the preps had a major effect on her. But I do believe it was a real person.
Okay. I'm going to take the opposite. Obviously, I've hinted. I've shown my cards here.
Mm.
I don't know why. It is equally as puzzling to me. So don't think that I have a lot of confidence in this answer. It's just because I have never met a human being like this. But then again, nor have I met a human being who would pull this kind of a troll. So it's a tough. But if I had to bet the mortgage on it, I would say that this is a very bizarre troll that someone did. The first one got reaction to, and then leaned into it and said, "Okay, I'm going to ride it out and fluff it out with a little fiction," and then did the bold thing of pretending to hack it.
Yeah.
Although that's tough because the hack didn't. Like I said, it was pretty bland stuff, but this may not be a talented troller. It's just someone who had people's eyes for whatever reason. So anyway, that's my assessment. I think it's a troll.
Okay. Well, we do get some fans did write in with their theories, so maybe we should read some emails from people about. All right, so these are emails from our listeners, many of them Patreon supporters. You can check out that at patreon.com/372pages. We have been, posting every episode early there. We've been posting Meet the Authors segments where you get to meet some very interesting people that we can't cover their books on there. And there's all sorts of great things that you can only get on there. There's contests. Please join, support it. We appreciate everyone who does. And here is an email from Matt. He says, I've read a lot of discussion back and forth on whether or not the infamous fanfic is real or not, but one theory I don't think I've seen put out is whether or not it first began as real story and then as criticisms began flying, became an exercise in nonsense. So that's what we were sort of just saying, but he elaborates. There are a few things on this earth as spiteful as a scorned teenager. I can easily imagine a young fanfic author responding to criticism by doubling down on the very things that her readers dislike in a story to the point of finding more and more outlandish ways to make, quote, mistakes. Oh, you don't like that I misspelled Dumbledore? Well, now I'm going to misspell it even harder. Anyway, just a thought I had while listening on my commute home the other day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that that's true. But do you think that all of those things together, like doing the 111s and everything so consistently, is that the thoughts of a teenager saying this is going to irritate them, and this is going to irritate them, and then this is going to irritate them? I don't know.
And maybe looking at it with adult eyes towards it. I don't know.
Right.
Here's Theodore. Moon People had more than its share of errors, but reading My Immortal was like driving down a street made entirely out of speed bumps, while the other people in the car debated whether it was a parody of speed bumps or because the pavers were just really bad at their job. It does not matter if it's a parody or not, because it's an awful time either way.
There were highlights. Come on.
Speaking of Moon People, this email just came in from David. His subject line was Moon People predicted it, and then it was a link to a Gizmodo article with the headline, NASA ominously chooses Halloween 2021 to launch long-delayed space telescope.
What?
And he just said, do you think they're nervous?
Wow.
I do not know. There are 2 people in the world who find it ominous that rockets launch on Halloween.
That is amazing.
Yeah. This is another email from Nathan. I am using my past experience to weigh in on the issue of whether this work was written by a troll or if it was a real fanfic attempt. In my previous career as a captain in the Army's military police, I'm not sure if this person has written in before, but we've had a couple people from the Army written in about, was there one of people playing chicken or not?
For sure. I remember that very much, yes.
He says, one of my responsibilities was to review police reports prior to those reports being finalized and published in what is called a blotter. Approximately 1/4 of the handwritten sworn statements, the military's version of an affidavit, of witnesses our patrols gathered were just as littered with typos, grammatical errors, and missed words as My Immortal.
Wow. Oh, dear.
This writing is strangely reminiscent of those terribly written sworn statements I wasted my mental processing abilities on. Unfortunately, I am left to conclude that My Immortal was written by a young American trying her best. I am continuously entertained by your work. Thank you for making me laugh. So there's, America's men and women in uniform being compared to the anonymous author here.
That is one of the more depressing things I've heard in a while, and they're coming fast and furious these days. So that's amazing. My goodness.
So that's the was it a troll or not block. Now we get some people who took up our challenge of writing some other works in the style of Tara Gillespie. This first one is from Michael. He submits one titled Lair of the Wife Worm. He says, Fangs, Mary Bloody Shelley for editing this, the middle-class perp. He says, my name is Adam, and I live in Australia. Wire, I own one of 1,100 horses. My uncle brought me to London, where he owns a couple of states. I wear a black button-down tweed shirt with Gothic Nosferatu on the front. I buy all my clothes and records from the Edgar Allan Poe store. Tesla will be at the town square playing music with his coils. He is so effing strapping. OMFW. Caswell comes in with a white snack shirt. Stupid prep. Et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, delightful.
That was very good. I'll post the whole things maybe on the either Patreon or Discord. This one is from IJC. Let's skip this one and come back to it because it sort of builds to this one. Brian. Dan Brown in the style of My Immortal. Snap admired Egony as she began to walk down the cement causeway like Gerard Way. He's so fucking hot. He noticed that her icy blue eyes like limpid tears seemed distant tot day, but her checks had a pale freshness and her long black hair, that's how she got her name, with purple streaks and red tips looked newly blown dry. Trailing her was the faint scent of Johnson's baby powder. His eyes fell the length of her slender torso to her black corset with matching lace around it and black leather miniskirt, and finally to her legs with pink fishnets and black combat boots. Ebony darkness, dementia Raven Way's legs. Hard to imagine they support a vampire witch that looks like Amy Lee, Snap mused to himself.
Wow.
Very nice.
Nicely done.
Here we go. Nolan. Don Quixote in the style of My Immortal. Hi, my name is Don Alonso Quixote de la Mancha, Knight of the Sorrowful Visage, and I have a scarred and weary face. That's how I got my name. With a lance and armor and a horse, which I have dubbed Rocinante, and a lot of people tell me I look like Charlemagne. Author's note, if you don't know who she is, get the hell out of here. I'm a chivalrous knight, in case you couldn't tell, and I wear the helmet of Mambrino, which makes me invincible. I love being a knight and spend all my time performing virtuous errands for my most beautiful lady love-in-waiting Dulcinea. For example, today I was set upon by giants who I attacked, but they picked me up and threw me to the ground before I could finish them off, and enchanter turned them all into windmills. Through the town with my squire Sancho. A lot of scholars and enchanters stared at me. I put up my lance and demanded they joust me.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that was really good. That he did not do as many spelling errors. It made it easier to read. Here is one more, and then we have the final one. Primate Brain submitted this. It occurred to me while listening to My Immortal Episode 2, there's an unusual similarity between My Immortal and Finnegan's Wake by James Joyce. Consider the following lines from My Immortal. Snoop garbed the caramel and put it in his pocket, and then he and Snoop both took out guns using magic. They started to shoot each other angrily. None of the ballots got on each other yet. You must stab vampire, he said to me. If you don't, then I'll rap Draco. Now consider the following lines from Finnegan's Wake. Sobs they cited at Philagian's Chris or Miss Wake. All the Whovillains of the nation prostrated in their consternation and their duodecimally profusive plethora of ululation. My God.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never really read that, so that's.
I have the last line from Ulysses.
Oh, what was it?
And then he asked me, would I yes to say yes, my mountain flower, and first I put my arms around him, yes, and drew him down to me so he could feel my breasts all perfume, yes, and his heart was going like mad, and yes, I said, yes, I will, yes. So, yeah.
Stream of consciousness. At least that gives you a little more closure, I would say, at the end of the book.
That's true, yes.
But so he says, both excerpts are full of ridiculous nonsense words, but in both cases they are also elaborate puns. Caramel for camera in Tara's case, and the later mentioning of rap. Similarly, the passage from Finnegan's Wake is provided, like much of My Immortal, a reference to a song called Miss Hooligan's Christmas Cake. I don't know what that is. Sounds like Taffy was a Welshman. It is also a pun on the name of the book itself, while also spelling Finnegan wrong on purpose, as Tara often does with Ebony's name. Joyce goes on to make the pun Hooligans out of hooligans and holy ones, as they are presumably referring to a funeral, which is also Gothic enough to be up Tara's alley. The passage ends with the hooligans singing mournfully, perhaps as though they were at an MCR concert.
Wow.
It is entirely possible, dare I say probable and highly likely, that Tara Gillespie, or Rose Christo, deliberately set out to write her own Finnegan's Wake, and perhaps the history books will determine that she succeeded.
Strong statement.
Very, very.
I've said this before, again, danger on a podcast, but I read a huge Samuel Beckett biography, and when he was working with James Joyce was writing, I think it was Ulysses, that he was really the only other person on earth who could understand the book. It's like,
Great, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, he understood it, hated it. So there you go. This final one is from IJC. Rush documentary, written like My Immortal.
Yes, now I'm on board. My ears are perked up.
AN. Stop flaming Bieber fans. Fuck off. I'm nit singing till you give me 5 good reviews. Thanks to Alex Lifeson for helping with the music. Hi, my name is Geddy Lee, and I have long brown hair. That's how I got my name. And I stated a band called Rush. I'm Canadian, and my band is too. Author's note, if you're not Canadian, get the hell out. We got together in 1968, and we were Canada. Get it? Because I'm Canadian. Bluesy back then. Then in the 70s, we were more rock. We were huge in the 70s and 80s. In the 80s, we were more synth. You probably heard our song, Tom Bombadil and Lemon Light. I went on stage wearing a black t-shirt and blue jeans and sneakers. We sang Subway Divisions and everyone cheered. After the concert, we went backstage and watched Anne of Green Gables because we're Canadian and we like that because it's filmed in Canada. What you say about Tom's company is what you say about society. Rush rocks. 11111.
Wow. Again, so specific.
Utter madness.
Oh, our grandpas are so happy that we're doing this.
Yes, exactly. So thank you, everyone who emailed all those things. A lot of work went into those. I will post them again, maybe just I'll post them everywhere. People deserve to read the whole things because some of them were longer than what we read. But we can conclude My Immortal with some dumb sentences of the week.
A sentence begins with a capital letter. A capital letter is a letter that's big. A capital letter is not a small letter. A capital letter is big, big, big.
All right, we have covered a lot of these, believe it or not. But we will give them people their due for submitting them. Adam submitted, amnesia potion had not been invented yet, so it would not work. He says, logic-wise, it's a head-scratcher, to put it nicely. What I find most notable about this sentence, however, is that for once there isn't a single spelling error. Almost as if Tara took particular care in organizing her thoughts. Almost as though she realized she was onto something. And he says it's her attempt to solve the butterfly effect. So yeah, just like me, I thought it was a notable addition to the time travel canon. Andrew submitted, in it, boy and girl were doing it suddenly and a serial killer came. So he was confused here as well. He said, this does not happen in The Exorcist. If she wanted a movie where this does happen, she could have picked literally any movie in the slasher genre. So yeah, that's, I guess, confusion just about whether the people were murdered in the theater or not.
I think they were.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it seemed, okay. Janelle submitted, my voice sounded like a pentagram between Amy Lee and a girl version of Gerard Way. Elizabeth submitted I cried sexily. I just wanted to go to the common room and slit wrists with my friends while we watched Shark Attack 3 and Saw 2 and do it with Draco, but I knew I had to do something more impotent. Shark Attack 3, what is that?
I don't know. Shark Attack?
Okay, sorry. I don't know why I thought you would know it. But
demanding of
Megalodon. Yes.
Come on, man.
I think that's a book. I think there's some famous clips from that on the internet, and it's called subtitled Megalodon. I have heard of that. This is from Harris. He did a spell, and suddenly his broomstick came to him sexily. How does a broomstick move sexily? I imagine it doing a boom chicka boom wiggle dance. I also searched the word sexily. It appears 32 times in the second half, yet none in the first, which makes it even more bizarre. So,
yep,
more credence to the leaning into it.
That was one of mine. That was one of my dumb sentences. Yep. Yeah.
Justin submitted. What?
Shark Attack 3 is Shark Attack 3 Megalon is the second sequel to Shark Attack, released in 2002, straight to video. The film is notable for featuring John Barrowman, who later found fame in popular shows such as Doctor Who and Torchwood, which I've never heard of. So.
No, me neither. But
there you go.
I mean, yeah, Doctor Who possibly leaning into the goth thing. I don't know.
Could be.
Justin submitted he looked more young than he did in the future. Bob Dylan's My Back Pages. I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. IJC submitted Oh My God Vampira and also pointed out an Ed Wood homage. Brandon submitted, now Vampire's dad would never die, and okay, Satan and Hedwig, you guys can start making out, I said, and I started to film them with the iPod. He says, she sort of just gave up halfway through a boring sentence to start a much hornier sentence. Mike submitted, he looked at me with his gothic red eyes and spiky black hair, as we have discussed before. Apparently his hair also has a sense of sight. Jacob submitted, oh, sorry, I was just looking around because I thought it was class. You said, finally hoping he couldn't see the potion in your pocket. He says, now somewhere we're in a choose your own adventure book. Because, yeah, it changes to second person. I didn't even notice that.
I didn't notice that either.
Yeah.
Wow.
You said, finally hoping he couldn't see the potion in your pocket.
Weird.
It's Bright Lights, Big City. And then Emily and Heather both submitted, I got up suicidally. And Heather said, the leave adverbs in this work have become my favorite part, and this one is my favorite example of my favorite part.
Oh, nice. Is that it?
What? Yeah, that's it. Do you have any more that weren't covered?
I do. This is, again, I'm cheating. It's more than a sentence, but it has to be together because her sentences are madness anyway, so who cares? Hey, motherfucker, said Diablo with his red hair. He was wearing a black P?ATD T-shit and Blake baggy pants. And I just didn't know what that meant at all.
So Panic at the Disco is Panic at the Disco?
I guess
it's like a talking cat. It has a question mark after the panic. So I guess when you abbreviate it, you're forced to do that.
Oh, the T-shit and Blake baggy pants, though. Again, trolling.
And mine, the one that I did not touch, I saved it for this. It is Voldemort screamed Hedwig as his Glock touched Voldemort's.
Wow.
We all know what Glock is subbing in for them, although it did take me a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this was something.
It was. It was a change of pace.
I don't know what to even compare it to. I don't think there is a comparison here.
We've compared it to like everything in the Western canon.
No, I'm sorry. I mean from our previous.
Oh,
from our canon.
Yeah, I mean it has to be closest to the Dwight David Thrash and Dale M. Courtney, but you know Jim Tice also from the probably the same age group and you know that sort of writing it in your room as a disaffected youth.
Oh, Jim Tice is I don't know, Robert Frost compared to this.
Yeah, it's unfair. I think it just maybe their same lot in life, but the work itself, it's the incoherence of Dwight David Thrash.
Yes.
But brother, I don't know how to finish the sentence. Taken to another level.
Well, your sentence was said flirtily and sexily, so it doesn't matter. I just want to know if anyone knows. I mean, our friend in the what was he? Was he an MP? Did he say?
Yeah, head of the military police or something.
I'll take his word for it, but I have never met anyone who has written this way, or I've never received any missive, or nor have I seen it, nor examined. So I'm left in the dark here. I mean, have you?
No. It's hard to imagine. It's even, in college writing emails, IMing, like there was no lapsing into the borderline incoherence of this story. It's hard to imagine it happening offline. I'll just say that, in real written letters and stuff like that.
Right. I mean, was there a period ever where you did the abbreviations, for the time when you had to type T9 where you were doing that?
No, I never really lapsed into that. I always thought it was sort of not worth the time and stuff. I never really got into lulls or anything like that either.
You don't want that on record that you typed that out. Is one thing. But yeah, it also just feels like, look, we can use this thing to make full words. Let's just do it. So I have obviously never done it, nor have I ever communicated with a human who writes this way. So it's just baffling to me. It really is. But I trust other people that there are people out there who do this. So
yeah, but I think it's just going to be one of those sort of gaps in like your vertical video TikTok discussed. It's just going to be, people are coming up and they're going to be like, well, of course I type like this. Like, what do you care? I don't write in cursive, Grandpa. Like,
that's true. Yeah. And also, science abhors a vacuum. We may never know. And so we'll try to fill it in, but we will just have to suffice that it is a mystery. And we'll let it go at that.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of these books we read seem to, just like NASA choosing Halloween, people are going to... I'm sure that this is not the last we've heard of Tara Gillespie. So if there is a actual more concrete reveal of the identity, people will be on the horn to us, as soon as it comes out, just like they were with Ready Player 2 news.
I hope so. I hope some journalist out there, instead of chasing down corruption or fiends or some evil somewhere, is trying to find out who Tata/Tara/ Raven Claw, whatever the hell her name is, real identity. Please divert all your resources and work towards that. And,
I mean, the Pulitzer Committee's probably getting bored about, uncovering, corruption in our judicial system or the government, stuff like that. They're looking for some fresh young talent, so...
Yeah, so hint, hint. Let's get going on that, people. Come on. Connor and I need answers. All right, well, thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
this was quite a limited edition 372, and we'll talk soon about something meaty, I assume. I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Who knows? But
oh, boy. I've got an idea.
Okay. All right. Tantalizing. All right, well, and also thanks to our Patreon people, and thanks to everyone who read and submitted, because reading this was not an easy task. So reading and then mashing up is yeoman's work, and we thank you for that.
Yes.
Michael J. Nelson.
Conor Listoka. See you next time.
So long.